Hello and welcome to the RV Living Show. We're Bryan and Luann Street, and we're going to get ready and share with you our top 3 RV tools. Actually, Bryan's going to share the 3 top RV tools that we have in our RV tool bag. So stay with us, and we're going to get to that in just a minute. The RV life. We're surrounded with the message that it's a life you have to wait until retirement to have, and a life that only some can afford. And while it might be reality for those who want to believe that's true, we're on a mission to change that mindset and help people to stop wondering and start wandering to create a life they love.
Join us in conversations about how to design your RV life. We're Bryan Luann Street, and this is the RV Living Show.
A big welcome to everyone who's watching with us live and who's watching us on the replay, right?
That's right.
Okay, so like we said, we're Bryan and Luann Street, of Where the Streets Wander. If you're not familiar with us, we have an RV lifestyle blog called Where the Streets Wander, and you can learn more about us at streetswander.com.
That's right.
So we're going to dive into tools today, huh?
Yeah, we got 3 of our top tools that we think is every RVer should have. Really.
Should have. Well, we get a lot of questions about, especially when people are going full-time, because they have limited space, they need to be weight conscious, and they always want to know, what kind of tools do I need to have? Because while it may be different when you're part-timing, full-timing, you need to have different stuff with you, or maybe a more complete set of things with you. So yes, in order to kind of answer this, we're doing this video on our 3 most important ones, or I should say the 3 most must-have ones, but there are 7 more, and we're going to show you at the end of this episode how to find out about the other 7.
Right.
Okay, so 3 must-have tools for your RV life. So Bryan's going to be taking the lead on this because I'm not a tool person, so I can do kitchen tools, but he's going to do this today. So our first tool that we think that you need to have is knowledge.
Absolutely. As an RV owner, knowledge is probably the most important thing you can have. Is knowledge of how everything in your RV works. Not only knowing how it works, is how to maintain it. And if you know how things work and how to maintain it, you can kind of have a better idea what you need to put in your toolbox, or actually, if you feel comfortable working on it.
Yeah, RVs have so many different systems, right? You buy it and they're all brand new to you unless you've owned one before. And, you're looking at how this works and how that works. And before you know it, you've tripped a breaker, or you've done this or you've done that. And it could be an easy fix, but you don't know that because you don't know how it works. So knowledge is your number one tool.
Knowledge is number one tool as far as making sure that you can actually go out and work in your RV.
Or travel with someone who has the knowledge.
Okay. We don't always have all the answers, but as having a place to go get the answers is important. And how you're going to get the answers is, one way you're going to start is read your owner's manuals. I know everybody says, oh no, not the owner's manuals. Yes, read the owner's manuals. They're not exactly like a good book you're going to sit down and read from end to end and read every word. But if you take your owner's manual and take some time and start skimming through a little bit each day, or when you have time, start skimming through these pages, mark out things that's important in there. Maybe how to use something a certain way, or maybe there's a maintenance log in there that you can use to maintain your RV. These are going to give you so much information as far as be specific to your brand of RV that they're just valuable information, not only for the RV, but you can find them. Most of them will have the appliances in there and different things and how everything works. That is also really good. We can talk about it later, set up a maintenance schedule, because you'll need that.
Yeah. So the first thing that comes to my mind about your owner's manual is that I'm looking at the book on the slide. And by the way, if you're listening to this on the podcast, we are showing slides on our show on the video, but you can find all of the resources that we're talking about at the link we're going to give you with the podcast. So don't worry.
It'll be there.
So as far as, I'm looking at this picture of this owner's manual, and it's big, right? And I know you suggested download the PDFs and stuff so you can look at them.
This is also, I didn't mention that, the PDFs are very important. A lot of owner's manuals now can be downloaded as a PDF version, which makes it very nice to put it on your laptop. You don't have to grab this big book and bring it out and set it out. It's a big thing to have in your RV. Even though we have our owner's manual with us, I have just about everything in it downloaded on a PDF version, so I can easily pull it up on my computer and at any time and look at it. And
you have the option.
I have the option of doing either one.
So the other part of knowledge, because your owner's manual is your specific RV's pieces of components. That's the word. So it's your RV's component. So it's really important to know what your specific RV has. Well, then on the other hand, RV systems in general all tend to work generally the same way, and knowing how those things work is also important. So we are recommending this really cool resource that we found.
Yeah, I recently found this. This is the RV Repair Club. �RVRepairClub.com. I have joined them because right now, I'll tell you a little bit more about that, how the pricing on that, but they offer so many videos about RVing in general. Like they have videos on all your components and even different things about power in a campground, different things you're going to need to know. This is a great resource. They've done a really good job, not only with the videos, they have a lot of PDF downloads. And what is amazing about this right now is you can actually go there. They're running a special, and you can join them for like $3 for the first year.
Yeah, I was looking at the website. It's like 96% off.
Yeah, it's an incredible price. Even at the regular price, to have this type of information available, it would be well worth it. If it saved you one
repair
call. Think of how much, or someone coming out to your RV to fix something that maybe was a breaker to something was tripped wrong. So look at how much that's going to save you.
Well, the other piece is, especially if you're savvy and you kind of know things, but you don't know things about the RV, it can save you some embarrassment because you flipped a breaker and you didn't know where to do it. And now that was an easy fix. And then you just spent $50 to $75 to have somebody flip your breaker, and then you're embarrassed. So.
Yeah, that is so true. I mean, things can happen. RVs are something you really got to learn.
Yes. And speaking of being embarrassed, I wasn't picking on anybody in particular, except that I know that Bryan has a lot of knowledge, and when he's frustrated that he can't figure it out, he wants the knowledge. And so I know that he just joined this because he thought it was such a great bargain and a great thing to have.
For the price, I couldn't pass it up. And I've been watching several videos. Join them, check it out. It's well worth the $3 for the first year just to try it out.
So the next thing that we think is important to have is an air compressor.
Absolutely. This is one tool that I don't think any RV owner should leave home without. You just don't know, because tires, we can talk back, look at tires are very important to have the proper air pressure in them. That's just for safety alone. Just having the ability to put air pressure, fill up your tires in case of a problem is worth the peace of mind of having a nice air compressor that was capable to actually use on your RV. Can't just go buy any one, because of the fact that a lot of these RVs have really high pressure tires. I know the RV I have now, we have pressure at 100 PSI. The one before that, I had 120 PSI. So not just any air compressor would work. You need to get an RV specific air compressor. And having one of these in your compartment is going to be it's invaluable, because if you wake up or actually getting ready to travel and you find that you had a nail in your tire, and you turn on your tire pressure monitoring system and one of your tires is down 40 PSI, what are you going to do? You're going to just step out there and put some air in it and drive it down and have it repaired. You don't want to be in a position where you actually have to go find some place to put air in a tire. That's not something you want to be in an RV doing.
Our first experience with that, we were in Canada, and we had a flat tire, and we were really far from any place that could repair it. And we actually had to have an RV repair person come out and help us. And then we were able to go get the tire fixed. He told us where to go. And from that moment, that's when we realized we need an air compressor on board.
That's right. Actually, I went out and bought one while I was in Canada.
Yeah.
Because I knew that I would never have another situation where I didn't have an air compressor on board my RV.
So yeah, that's the one that we use, and it's really compact. It all goes in that little bag, and it fits away nicely, and it's good for you need to read and make sure it'll do the amount of pressure for your tires. I think you said that right.
You want to make sure that whatever you get. I'll actually add a link to this one in the video below, but check them out. I highly recommend them. I know a lot of RV owners. This is what they're actually going to use. It's a great little system. It's simple to use. I just can't say, it's really just that peace of mind of having the ability to fix your tires at any time.
Do you remember how expensive that is?
I think that's in the $300 price range.
Yeah, but peace of mind, and it can cost you a lot more to try to, either if you had to get towed. I mean, that would be terrible because you had low tires or you couldn't drive it.
Yeah, most RVs, you're not going to carry a spare tire with you.
Yeah, no. No, they're not on the back rack with the covers on them.
I guess they could be, but that'd be kind of big.
Oh, okay. All right. So we're going to invite you now to something that we are going to hold an event coming up in August. Actually, there's going to be 2 dates for it. I'm going to put a slide up here. My slides aren't cooperating with me today. But we are holding a Launch Your Full-Time RV Life. This is a 2-hour live workshop event that we're going to have on August 19th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, or on Saturday the 21st at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. These 2 different workshops are going to be 2 hours long, 90 minutes of training, as well as 30 minutes of Q&A. So if you want to invest in yourself, invest in your future, and learn more about how to clarify your RV decision, about how to set your RV life goals, about overcoming obstacles that you're going to face while transitioning to full-time RV life, then you need to join this workshop, Launch Your Full-Time RV Life, at streetswander.com/launch. So you can check that out and see if that's right for you. All right. So our last of the 3 is a surge protector.
Absolutely. This may not be like buying a set of wrenches or a good set of screwdrivers or pliers, but this is probably one of the third best tool to have. Having that peace of mind of protecting all your electronics in your RV. So important. You think of these campgrounds that you're plugging into, you're at the mercy of the power coming into that campground. And if all, especially in the summertime, you think all these different campers are plugged in and they're all using the most power they could use. And a lot of times, one of the things these can do for you is protect you from low voltage, which means that if you have low voltage, that can burn out your motor in your air conditioner or create a problem with your refrigerator. Low voltage is a serious problem. And if you're not having no way to monitor the voltage, then it could create a problem you don't even know that's happening. Like, for instance, this particular brand here, this is SurgeGuard. They offer a capability of where if the voltage gets to a certain point, it actually opens a circuit and shuts off, and when the voltage returns to a normal state where it's safe, it will come back on. You don't want to have a problem where you have a low voltage problem and you're actually hurting your RV and not even knowing it. Another thing we know about is what about a lightning strike or something, some other power surge from somewhere else in the park? This is going to protect you from that. And it's offered 2 different types. So you got one that I call it a portable type, which you actually can plug into the pedestal. What's nice about this is that if you have one of these you plug in, you can actually look at the indicator on it, and it has it tells you that the pedestal is wired properly, that the voltage is proper. Then you can plug your power into the RV. This is like when you come to any park, you plug this in first, you can check the power, power's good, you're safe to plug in. Now, I've been to parks before, and I've actually plugged this in, and things were wrong. This stopped me from actually maybe causing damage to my RV. This can happen, especially in these RV parks where they're used in and out all the time. Things come loose in there that maybe the person that just left the park yanked his cord out real hard, and something come loose. So maybe a wire come loose in the back, and it's just not making full contact. Little things like this can create a problem. You don't want this problem to be turn into your problem in your RV. You want to protect yourself. Now, the next thing I'm talking about, they also have a hardwired unit that you can mount in your RV, and then run your power cord from that out to your pedestal. Now, this is something you want to need probably an electrician or maybe an RV dealer to actually put it for you. But the nice thing about this one is you never have to worry about losing it or leaving it anywhere. It's protected your RV every time you plug it in. And that's actually a nice version. We have that hardwired version, and it's nice because I don't ever have to worry about someone stealing it or actually losing it somewhere.
Well, we actually use both, don't we?
We actually have both. I have a smaller one that I put on the pole before I plug the wire in, just to make sure that it's wired correctly, and then I will plug in my power to that. That's something I do every time. I just, like I said, I have found places where they were not wired correctly.
Mm-hmm. And then you can also, tell the RV park, hey, that one's not good.
Yeah,
you need to fix it, or give me a new site, or whatever the outcome is going to be. But you protected yourself.
Protect your RV is the number one, because you don't want to have to repair an air conditioner or something that because a spike in voltage, or even worse, a lightning strike, and it damages all your wiring in your RV.
So those are our three really must-haves that we would not ever RV without. There are 7 more, and we have a blog post called the 10 must-have things that are in your RV tool bag, and that is on our website at streetswander.com. RV must-haves, RV tool bag. So you can check out that article and look and see what other 7 ones we recommend, because those are the ones that we actually wrote that post to help people understand that especially when they want to have a full tool bag with them while they're traveling and while they're full-timing, then this is the things that you should have in your arsenal.
Yeah, it's easy to bring too many tools as well.
Yes, it certainly is. And we've been through that. So for those of you who read the newsletter this week, you found that out. That is a struggle. It is a struggle for because tools are not cheap, and I get the investment in that. And it's an interesting thing when you have to pare down and make sure that you have just what you need. And then, the other thing that you can think about too is that, well, if you absolutely needed something when you were out on the road, then you could always go purchase it. And just because you got rid of, one thing doesn't mean that you couldn't purchase it again. But if you really haven't used it in your regular life in a long time, you're not going to use it in your RV. So yes, this blog post will help you round out your tool bag and make you feel really good about it.
That's right.
Okay, well, that is our show for this week. We're going to jump into the comments and see who's here with us live. See if anyone has any questions or comments about what we talked about today. So we'd love to hear from you and interact with you. So Will is here from Indy. Hey, Will, thanks for coming. And Wendy is here from 2 rows over. I know, we're going to get to meet Wendy this afternoon. That is so exciting. Awesome. We found out we're in the same park. Now, Scott is here. He's from Ontario, Canada. And my question is, along the long stem TPMS and a great air compressors, would you guys recommend any tire patch kit in particular, in case you pick up a nail and want to do an emergency patch and fill it until you can get that tire repaired?
That's a good question. Most people, especially I spoke to a tire company about this, they don't ever, especially on the RV tires, because there's such high pressure, they don't ever recommend that anybody ever patch their tire. If you did pick up a nail, the only thing I would say to do is leave the nail in there until you could actually get it repaired. Mm-hmm. For instance, I know that we had a nail in the front tire of our RV. they would not patch it or repair it. We had to get another tire or move it to another position, which at that time, I don't know what we did. We'd get the tire. I don't remember what we did. But anyway, they're very careful about patching these high pressure tires. It's not quite like your car. If it's a car, yeah, I'll probably get a patch kit. But your RV tire, being that you're running such high pressures, I probably wouldn't do it.
Well, thanks, Scott. What kind of RV do you have? I'll let you answer that. And Gabby is here. And she says, see you on tonight's downsizing call. Woohoo! Yes. Yep, we'll see you there. And Ruth says she's going to be there as well. So yes, we're going to, these ladies are working their way through downsizing to their full-time RV life. And we have accountability calls every 2 weeks to keep them on the right path, moving forward, getting rid of their stuff. So if you want to know more about that, you can message me. Okay, so I think that's it for this week. Next week, well, I had my what I was going to tell you we were doing, and now I lost it. You don't remember?
No, you didn't tell me.
Oh, I know what it is. So we had a lot of questions about when should you start planning your transition to full-time. And so we're going to do a show on that next week and answer those questions. When should you start preparing? Even if you're, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years down the road, when is actually the best time to start your planning for your transition? So we're going to be talking about that next week here on the RV Living Show at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, Wednesday afternoons, and we will see you there.
Yes.
Thanks,
Take
guys.
care, guys.
You guys have a great week. Okay, now you're going to hear this.
Thank you for joining us for the RV Living Show. We hope this episode helps you in creating an RV life you love.
Until next time, we encourage you to stop wondering and start